Welcome back to my Road to Completion Guide for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is episode 46. Give Aerith the Genji Gloves and overwrite slot 9.
So those creepy outfits you see.
Fight Titan again, powered down by 3. Our party is Kate Sith and Tifa.
No more to ask. If you need anything, you know where to find me.
Cast Haste with Kate Sith and have Tifa use Unfettered Fury. Our goal is to stagger Titan, cast Stop to pause the stagger gauge, and spam Tifa's True Strike ability. This will force his stagger gauge up to 300%, giving us a trophy called Staggering Success. We can give up after the trophy pops.
Break a leg!
I got that against me. Finish him off. I see it. Got your number. I see it. There, bring it. Got your number. Bingo. Come on. I see it.
Let's be a good.
Bring it.
Here we go! Pow!
It's time to take on Chadley's brutal simulation challenges. In this video, we're going to focus on the very first one called Army of the Damned. This will be with live commentary. I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm going to walk you guys through this first brutal challenge, Army of the Damned, with live commentary, okay? We're going to take our relay system up a notch, okay? Previously, you guys know we had Kate Sith, cast Haste. And of course, it's also possible to cast Stop. And then Yuffie went over to, the perimeter of the arena, wherever that might be, and started, building up ATB, right, with Aerith's ATB ward, right? And then we just started casting spells. That's pretty much all we did. Now, you can get through every single one of these challenges doing the same thing, okay? Here's the problem. Some of these rounds, right, because these are going to be round based. Notice this one is 10 rounds, this one's 10, and then this one's 5, okay? So some of the enemies within certain rounds are not going to be weak to fire. And currently Aerith has MP absorption linked with fire. This means that every time we cast fire, as long as we do a pretty good amount of damage, it's going to return all of her MP back to her that she spent. So if she casts a spell for 18 MP, she does enough damage, it's going to give us the 18 MP back. Her max MP pool right now is 91. So if done correctly, right, if you do enough damage, she's going to go down to something like 80 or whatever, or a little bit less than 80. And then it's going to return her back to 91 every time, okay? The problem is that, again, some of these enemies are not weak to fire. Okay. So that means she's going to have to use a different spell. Now she currently has the fire and ice materia, which means she can use ice, which a lot of the enemies, if they're not weak to fire, they're going to be weak to ice. Okay. The problem is we're not going to be able to return our MP back to us because we don't have ice linked to MP absorption. Okay. Which means if you sit there and you cast ice, even though it's destroying an enemy, right, it's not going to be returning MP, and you could, basically bleed your MP down to 0. Now, obviously, as you transition into a new round, you do get some of your MP back. So even if you're sitting at 0 when you cross into another round, it is possible, as long as that next set of enemies is weak to fire and you can do enough damage, you can actually get your MP pool back up to 91, right? But we just don't want to take that risk, okay? So by synergizing, we're going to be able to get access to unlimited MP for a small period of time. And in that small period of time, we should be able to kill the enemies. If not, we can just synergize again, right? This means we can use that to our advantage. If we're in a fight, regardless of whether or not the enemy is weak to fire, ice, it doesn't matter. We still want to have that unlimited MP. If at any point we see an enemy where we hit them with fire and it pretty much does no damage, or it doesn't increase their pressure slash, their stagger bar or whatever, their pressure bar, then we just know at that point that fire is not the deal. I don't want you guys to have to memorize each round and all the different enemies and who's weak to what, okay? Just look at the health bar and the pressure bar. It's going to tell you the story, okay? If you cast a spell and it does nothing to the health bar, right, and the pressure bar doesn't go up, like nothing happens, then you know that you need to use a different element, okay? And your go-to is going to be fire, and then blizzard or ice. And then, of course, Kate Sith has lightning and wind. Okay. So don't worry about who's weak to what. I mean, I've watched so many tutorials of people trying to explain in round 4, this enemy's weak to this. And in round 5, this enemy's weak to this. It's too chaotic, guys. Some of these rounds are going to have 7 enemies. Okay. Start off with fire, nuke all the enemies that you can. It's going to be obvious after you kill 6 of the 7 enemies that one enemy is still standing and it's got 100% of its health. That should tell you fire doesn't work. Very simple, okay? Switch to blizzard. Blizzard's gonna do it, okay? In most situations, if fire's not working, blizzard's gonna be the thing. If not, we're gonna follow up with Kate Sith with wind, okay? Not with thunder, with wind. So it's gonna be fire, check the health pool, nothing's happening, go to blizzard. Check the health pool, nothing's happening, go to wind, okay? Now, again, Kate Sith does not have any MP absorption attached to his link to his materia, so he doesn't get MP back. But again, that's where the synergy comes into play, because Kate Sith and Aerith are going to have unlimited MP. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how that works right now. Okay. But the fundamentals of the relay system remains the same. Okay. We're going to lead with Kate Sith, get everything set up. Now, notice what I did there. I picked Kate Sith, Aerith, and Yuffie in that particular order. This is very important. Kate Sith needs to be the first party member that you pick, then Aerith, then Yuffie. Okay. So Kate Sith, number 1 character, Aerith, number 2 character, Yuffie, number 3 character. The reason why you want to do that, guys, is because you want them to show up in this particular order inside of the combat arena. You want Kate Sith to be in the middle. You want Yuffie to be on the left, and Aerith to be on the right. Why? Because when you press up on the D-pad, it cycles to the next person that we need. Perfect.
Your turn now.
How about you show us
It's not like the previous fights we've had where we kind of had to search around for a character. Okay.
You mind?
Because you can set up the party order in the combat simulator in the order that you choose, we can manipulate that. So when you press up on the D-pad, it's automatically on the correct character.
Feel like taking over?
Who's next in the relay. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do,
You got this.
I'll fight
Kate
tooth and
Sith,
claw
right?
for you.
ATB boost.
Just stack in the day.
Haste, stop, switch to Yuffie. Don't roll, just run to the wall. When you get to the wall, up on the D-pad, ATB, Yuffie, up on the D-pad twice, go back to Yuffie, wait for the ATB ward to show up. It doesn't matter if you get hit. If she still doesn't have 1 ATB, just boost. Okay, And then she'll definitely have over 1. Does that make sense? So even if she's at half, doesn't matter. As soon as you ATB boost, she'll be set up. Okay. So now all she needs to do is start spamming her broom with
So
fire.
it's my turn?
It's very important here that you move to the far wall. Okay. You want to be completely opposite of wherever Yuffie is. Now notice Yuffie right now, because this is a circular arena. Yuffie is basically like if you think about the face of a clock, right? 12 is at the top, 6 is at the bottom, 3 is on the right, and 9's on the left, and you got the numbers in the middle, right? She's basically right now at the 11 o'clock position. That's where I like to go for these brutal challenges. Later on, we're going to take Yuffie to the 3 o'clock position. I have reasons for that. This is, guys, I've tested this for well over, right now it's over 200 hours I've tested these simulation challenges. So I know exactly what I'm talking about here. Take her to the 11 o'clock position, okay? And then you want to bring Aerith to the 5 o'clock position. You want to spread out these enemies as far as possible, okay? So by being at the 11 o'clock position and the 5 o'clock position, you are as far away as you can possibly get from the other character. Does that make sense? If I were to put Yuffie at the 12 o'clock position and Aerith at the 1 o'clock position, they're virtually sharing the same space. And what does that mean? That means if an enemy wants to hit one enemy wants to hit one of our characters, it's probably going to hit both of our characters because they're basically standing in the same spot. That means that the enemy is going to be doing maximum damage with one attack to multiple characters. This is not what we want, okay? There's a lot of other YouTube videos out there where it'll show you how to quick kill enemies, where basically in the first like 15 seconds, you know, put in a bunch of inputs and all the enemies die. And it looks amazing. The problem is when it does not work, these videos are not showing you guys how to recover. Okay. So what I'm teaching you guys is a very defensive strategy where you get everything set up. You give yourself the best, all the possible advantages that you can. Okay. And if things get crazy, you can recover. And I'm going to showcase that as we progress through the simulation challenges. But part of that setup is making sure that you are minimizing damage. So if I'm over here on this wall with Aerith and an enemy hits me, it does nothing to Yuffie. And Cait Sith is typically going to be hanging around somewhere in the middle of the arena, which means we're just spreading out that damage. Because right now there's probably 7 enemies on screen or 6 or something like that. And there's only 3 of us. So we got to minimize the damage that they're doing to our characters, okay? And the way you do that is to create as much space as possible. Now, it doesn't always have to be 11 and 5. It could be 12 and 6, right? It could be 1 and 7, 3 and 9. But for these challenges, what I find is 11 and 5 is the sweet spot, okay? So once you get Yuffie over there to the wall and you put up the double ATB, come to the 5 o'clock position straight across from Yuffie. And let's get set up with Radiant Ward,
Test your strength.
Arcane Ward, and then no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, you always want to pray with Cait Sith, okay? Because you can see we've lost some health with Aerith. Yuffie got tagged a few times. You want to recover all that, or not all of it, but as much of that HP as you can, right? To kind of buff ourselves for the next relay, okay? There's the pray. And then we'll go over here, build up ATB.
All right.
Okay.
I'll take care of them.
And you can see that I got hit. Of course, well, I mean, we didn't see it because it was off camera. But notice the Radiant Ward is the only thing down right now. Remember, we need the Radiant Ward and the Arcane Ward. No problem, right? Just put it down. Then go straight to Cait Sith again. No matter what happens, you want to keep praying with Cait Sith. Okay, now we've got the Arcane Ward down and the Radiant Ward were fully set up. Now this is kind of where we left off previously when I showed you guys how to take out the zoo enemy and the other ones, right? This is where we just typically started casting magic. That's not what we're going to do here. This is where the addition comes in, okay? You want to be standing inside of the Arcane Ward in the flower petal. And you want to synergize because at this point, because you've prayed, basically you casted haste and slow with Cait Sith. That's 2 pips. And then he prayed. So he has 4 pips. Aerith cast ATB Ward, 1 pip. And then she did Arcane Ward and Radiant Ward. That's her pips. So now you have enough to synergize with Kate Sith, right? Using just those simple commands, you're ready to go, okay? So we're going to synergize. The reason why you want to be standing on the flower is because wherever Kate Sith is in the arena, he is going to warp to Aerith's location. And because we want him to cast a spell, we want him to be as close to that flower as possible. Now, I can tell you that when you use this specific synergy skill or ability, he'll be a little bit to the left and in front of her. So if you really want to make it to where he's standing on the flower, you kind of want to move yourself to the back right of the flower, if that makes sense. So somewhere in here, okay? But I find that just getting yourself on the flower is good enough, okay? So let's synergize, and you'll see that he's going to warp to us. It's going to be the only one lit up, by the way. Both of these are going to give you guys unlimited MP, but the top synergy is when you synergize between yourself and Yuffie. This one is where you synergize between between Aerith and Kate Sith. That's the one you want, okay? So it doesn't matter, you know, just wherever the default is, guys, just hit it. Notice he whips to us. And as soon as the attack goes out, you're going to be back on Aerith. Go ahead and cast fire. Notice that the MP0 is kind of that purple color. And then if you look on the right there, beside the MP where it says Aerith 4668, and then there's that little purple icon with the infinite white symbol there, and then 91. When you see that purple icon, that means you have infinite MP. Okay, unlimited, right? We're just going to cast away. So notice Kate Sith is hurting for health, so we're not going to cast with him. So we're going to cast with her,
Tagging out.
and then pray with him. So we always want to maintain our health. Okay, he died. That's fine. We could just bring him back. It's part of our relay.
How about you pull yourself together?
Build up ATB. He's going to lose the unlimited MP.
So it's my turn?
Okay. Because we still have
You
Aerith,
can do it. Leave it to me.
and that should be enough.
Have
Part of the reason why they didn't work out exactly the way that it should have, guys, is because of the commentating. So the gameplay is always a little bit slower. But as we progress through this challenge, you guys will see what I'm talking about. So let's run it back. Okay. Hold down L1, spam R1, get the boost, paste, stop,
You like taking
run to the wall, switch,
I'll take care of him.
ATB,
Can
Yuffie,
you take over?
up on the D-pad twice,
Here I go. What you
wait
can
for it to
do.
show up, boost, ready to go.
Don't let me down. So
Run
it's my
Aerith to
turn.
the 5 o'clock position. Radiant,
Who's up for some magic?
Arcane.
You can do it.
always pray with Kate Sith,
Your turn now.
You
and back over
insist.
to it. Now we're going to synergize.
I'm coming.
Just like that. Again, it doesn't matter which one you pick.
And let
This will give us a little bit of damage.
Be
And then
beautiful.
We're going to do spells, fire.
Why don't you lead the
And
way?
you see Kate Sith is on the flower. You guys see that? Right behind Aerith. And notice what's happening here too. The Moogle is out. Okay, so if you guys remember with our skills, we picked debuff, I think it's called debuff extension, and there's 2 of those, which means our haste and stop last longer. Okay, plus we have the enhanced Marlboro orb, which also lets everything last longer. Okay, that's why we chose Kate Sith for this challenge. You could obviously go in with Cloud if you wanted to. It just even with the same materia setup, but it just, you know, the stop wouldn't last as long, that sort of thing. I find that the haste and the stop is so important that it's better to play with Kate Sith. Okay. But notice the Moogle's out, and 2 of our other skills is Moogle Vanguard and Moogle Sentinel, which means he's going to be able to take a little bit more damage. He also provides us with a little bit of an advantage because the Moogle is a 4th character. So now if there's 5 enemies on screen, it's a 5v4, right? Instead of a 5v3, right? And the Moogle will draw aggro. And believe it or not, this little sucker will save you more times than you'll ever even know in these challenges, just by having him run around. And of course, we could actually bring him out into the combat arena using the Let's Ride ability. But why do that when the synergy automatically brings him out? Does that make sense? So every time we synergize, he's going to come out. Okay. And you see how fast we're building up ATB. Okay. So while he's out kind of drawing aggro, we have 4 characters now. We're going to cast with Kate Sid, level 3 wind. Okay. Doesn't matter who you cast it on. Okay. Just let the computer figure out who it's going to kill, right? Because remember, if you cast a spell and that enemy dies while you're casting, maybe Aerith hits him or something like that, it'll just move to another enemy. Okay. So wherever it lands, just spam it. Okay. We want to be able to cast those spells fast before our infinite or our unlimited MP runs out. Okay. Then I'll show you guys what to do if it runs out. Run to the wall.
Good to
Up
go.
on the D-pad.
I'll show you what I can do.
Aerith.
You've got this. You won't regret
Wait.
this.
ATB. See how she automatically have 1 ATB.
All right, I'm coming.
Boosted. 5 o'clock position. Radiant.
Grant us your strength.
Arcane. Always pray, no matter what.
I'm your one-stop clobbering shop. I'll show you what I can do.
We're synergize.
Charging up.
Okay. Spells. We're gonna fire.
It's your turn.
Make sure Kate Sith is on the arcane ward. Level 3 win.
You won't regret this.
I'm gonna see if I can stretch this fight out.
Do me. I'll take
I'm not
care
gonna
of him.
cast here. I'm just going to pray. I'm gonna keep
You
praying
got this.
because I want you guys to see what's gonna happen when the unlimited MP runs out. Notice if you look in the right there, it says Kate Sith 2492. Notice the purple box. See how like if you're thinking about the face of a clock between 12 and 3, see how it's darker than the rest of that square? It's like a deep purple. That's the time on the synergy ability. Right? That's like a clock. Okay. So when it reaches 0, you're going to lose the unlimited MP. But I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Okay. So we're just going to keep praying. See if we can prolong this fight. Just keep watching that unlimited MP icon. See now, it's like the it's kind of in the 4 to 5 o'clock position. You guys see that? Keep praying, it won't let me. I'll just
It's your
skip.
turn.
I'll fight tooth and claw for it.
Skip. See if
You
I
won't
can keep this
regret
enemy
this.
alive. See how it's ticking? It doesn't last very long. But remember, we're getting ATB or pips so quick. By the time it runs out, you guys should be able to use it again. Okay?
Do me proud. I'll take care of him. Can you take over for
Oh,
me?
let him have it.
If you insist.
Because of course you'd be casting spells and doing all kinds of stuff.
Don't
See,
let
I
me
just
down. I'll
threw
show you
out
what I
easy.
Looking for me?
All right, so can't synergize because if you notice, if you look there on the left, I'm highlighting the ability. It's dimmed out now because I can't use it. Notice the pips though. See, there's 5 pips above Aerith's picture and 5 in front of, I should have said in front, not above. 5 pips in front of Aerith's image and then 5 in front of Kate Sith. Notice how Kate Sith, it's all 5 are lit up blue. With Aerith, 4 are blue, but 1 is red. That means I need 1 more. I need to expend 1 more ATB with her to be able to synergize again. So I could use any ability, right? I could use like soul
Lend
drain.
me your strength. You okay? And we're safe.
Well, he killed him. But you get my point. That would have added the 5th one. And then I would just synergize again and I would have unlimited MP. So because we're building ATB and pips so fast, okay, by the time the unlimited MP runs out, you'll be able to cycle through it again by synergizing because you'll have those pips built up, right? Remember, if you go over to Aerith and maybe she's 2 pips shy of being able to synergize, just cast Firaga again, right? That's going to give you those pips. And then when you come back to her, she can synergize, okay? Let me kind of position here.
You mind?
But I think you guys get my point.
I'll take
It's
care of
basically
them.
unlimited MP. Let's see, ATB word.
It's your turn.
Feel like taking
I'm your
over?
one-stop
Wait for it to
clobbering
show
shop.
up. Boost. If you still don't have it, throw your shuriken out. Now we got it. Start doing it.
Do me proud. So it's my turn?
And you probably don't have to come to the 5 o'clock position every single round. If you want to speed things up a little bit, you can plop this stuff down kind of in the middle, but you are taking a huge risk. Okay. It's a risk reward. The rounds might go a little bit quicker, but you're going to be surrounding yourself by these enemies. Okay. One thing that I haven't spoken about yet, and it's another reason why you want to put these wards on the edge of the arena, is because these enemies, a lot of them have the ability to, like knock your player back. So for instance, if I were to get hit, let's see, how can I demonstrate this for you guys? If I were to get hit here, right where I'm standing, an enemy could knock me over there where all the other enemies are, like knock me back physically, right? But if you're standing near a wall like this, the most they can do is knock you into the wall or knock you kind of around the wall, right? Kind of in line with it on that edge. So like they might knock me from here to here, but I'm still up against the wall. Does that make sense? And it allows you to get control of your character a lot faster, okay? Because you're going to come out of the animation a lot quicker because you're hitting something, right? Another thing that'll happen is some of the enemies can knock you straight up in the air. I should say they can knock you across the map, but if you're standing up against the wall, they will knock you straight up in the air. And what does that mean? When you fall back down, you're directly on your ward, okay? If you put your wards out in the middle of the map and they hit you, not only are you going to have less control of your character, I should say, you're not going to be able to control your character because the animation is so long. You're going to have all that dead time. But when you finally do recover and you're able to move around with your character, then you have to fight through the gauntlet of enemies to get back to your ward because it's in the center of the map, okay? So we just don't want to do that. And again, we don't want to have our wards close to each other, which is why we want to do the 5-11, 12-6, right, 1-7 rule, right? So let me get back over here. Set up. But you can do it. It's possible. And the rounds will go a little bit quicker if you're looking for speed.
Tooth and claw for
But
you.
I would urge you guys to not really focus on that because it's possible to get to like round 9 and you throw them wards down in the middle of the map and then you get killed and then you got to go back to round 1. You got to repeat rounds 1 through 8 again. You don't want that. We want pretty much guaranteed success getting through these. And so just stick to the system if you guys can, and trust me, it's going to pay off, okay? So we're going to be praying with him.
If you insist. I'll show you what I can do.
We should be set up.
Charging up.
We'll go ahead and queue up Aerith's spell. Make sure Kate Sith is in the flower.
Here I
3. And notice the pips, okay? Notice the purple
I'll take care
icon,
of
notice
them.
the pips. Like right now, Aerith has 2 pips, but if I cast here, it'll
go. Why
give her
don't you
4.
lead the way?
And then boom, you see that
on,
the
then.
round is already over. But if the round were to keep going, by the time that we lose unlimited MP, we'll have 5 pips for both characters, and we'll be set up again, right? And then we just keep that unlimited MP going, okay? And we have MP absorption on fire, because that's probably what you're asking now as well. If we have unlimited MP, why do we have MP absorption on the fire spirit? Just in case you can't get a synergy off. Right?
Don't let me down.
Just in
I'm
case,
coming.
you can rely on that MP pool regenerating itself, just in case you have problems with the setup or you need to recover. I mean, these enemies cast stone and toad and all kind of crazy stuff on our characters, so you're gonna have to recover in some of these fights, and so you'll have that MP pool to pull from, right? Because you won't be able to synergize potentially in some of the rounds.
Tagging out.
Again,
You
all
won't
this stuff
regret
is
this.
well thought out in advance, guys. ATB boost.
So it's my turn?
5 o'clock. Radiant,
Who's up for some magic?
Arcane.
Why don't you lead the way?
I'll
Always
fight tooth
play
and
with
claw
Kate
for you.
Sith.
You mind?
If you insist.
Back over.
All right, I'm coming.
Synergize.
Charging up. You've got this. How about you? So it's my turn?
The good thing about the way this works too, guys, is because we're moving we're swapping characters so often, it really does throw off the enemies.
You're burning up.
They really don't know how to track us
You like to
because that's the power of the reload, right? We're switching characters so fast, inputting actions or commands. It's very hard for them to find us.
You can do it.
I'll fight tooth and claw for you. Let him have it.
If you insist.
Because remember, they're going to be aggroed to the character that we're currently controlling. So by the time we switch over here to Yuffie, and Broom will form a few times, and they go, oh, Yuffie's the one being controlled, and they start coming over there to where Yuffie, we switch. And then, so it's like this tug of war with the enemy AI where they don't really know where to go. And while they're wandering around, we're destroying them, okay? ATB
Just
boost,
stacking the deck.
haste,
Let's get a wriggle on. You
stop.
mind?
Oh, I don't know if I've shown you guys this, but you don't want to roll when you come to the edge of the map because you don't gain any ATB. You want to make sure that you're running only.
I'll show you what
so
I
you're
can
building
do.
up ATB. I don't know if I've told
Why
you.
don't you lead the way? You won't regret this.
That's the reason why I'm not rolling.
How about you? Here goes.
All right, let's go to the 5 o'clock position.
You can do it.
All
Pray.
right.
Here I go.
The most important thing you can do with Kate Sith is pray. Even over casting
I'll
spells.
take care of him.
So low on HP, just pray. And like I said, even if you guys die, you'll be able to raise your power.
Crushed
They all
it.
have revival. So
Tagging out.
It's my time to shine. You mind?
if you really wanted to
You're
get
welcome.
fancy, you could go into your materia and set it up to where you would have to move some things around. But if you put magnify on like link, magnify, and wind with Kate Sith's character, then when he casts in Arcane Ward, he'll cast to all the enemies. Well, it's going to be 3. Basically, the way magnify works, guys, is
I won't let you
you
down.
target one enemy and then it'll catch the 2 enemies that are close by. But if there's no enemies close by, then it'll just attack one enemy. But you can see that because Aerith and Kate Sith are doing most of our aggressive actions, right? Or all of our aggressive actions. All the enemies are over there where they are. So that's why I don't really feel the need to have magnify on wind, because wind is probably going to catch multiple enemies anyway, even if I'm just targeting one without the magnification. But if you wanted to go in there and attach magnify to wind, then that's a possibility. And then you would have Aerith and Kate Sith dealing wind, or she'd be dealing fire damage to all the enemies and he'd be dealing wind to all the enemies. So just a thought.
Break a leg.
You're in good hands
Right, over here. Switch over.
I'll show you what I can do.
ATB.
Can you take over for me? If you insist. Don't give up now, you guys.
ATB boost. Set up. At least 50% of it.
I'm
Like I said,
coming.
The other 50%. Boom.
Don't worry. The plan is, why don't you lead the way?
Leave it to me.
Pray.
Let him have it.
Here I go.
Back over. And now we see.
All right. So it's my turn?
Now, another thing you guys can do, and you'll need to do this for some of the fights. Like I can give you an example now, like the Tomberry King fight and the worms, okay? Giga worms and all that stuff, sandworms, because they can swallow your character. And then the Tomberry King can spawn smaller Tomberries. And of course, they have the chef's knife and a few other attacks that can kill you in one hit. So what you can do there, guys, to kind of mitigate all that is after you cast stop and you get Yuffie set up and you come over here with Aerith and you do Radiant Ward and Arcane Ward and you go back to Kate Sith, wait for the enemies to start moving around and stop them again. Okay. then go back to Yuffie, build up 2 ATB, go to Aerith, start casting magic or synergize, do all that stuff. And then when they start moving around for a third time, stop them again. Okay. Each time you stop them, it's going to become less potent, right? So the first time you stop them, you're going to get probably 15, 16 seconds of time to kind of maneuver, right? If they're weak or vulnerable to stop. Some enemies you can't stop, okay? But most of them you can. And then when you stop them the second time, you're probably going to get, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number, like maybe 8 seconds. And then the next time you stop them, you're probably going to get, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds, right? It's going to decrease each time. But when you add all that time up, I mean, you're going to be getting, you know, probably 25 plus seconds of complete downtime where you're free to just kind of do whatever. And that's going to come in handy with fights like the Tomberry King, because you can just freeze him, deal damage, and then kill him before he even, you know, knows what's going on. Remember, you can also freeze them when they're pressured, stop them, so you can build up that pressure gauge, and you can also stop them when you stagger them, right? So you got to take that all into consideration when you run these simulation challenges. Then of course with the sandworm, because they can swallow characters, right? And if they swallow a character, now it's suddenly a 2v, you know, however many enemies are left on the playing field, and the relay system kind of breaks down when you don't have all 3 characters, right? And of course, when a character's swallowed, you can't revive them. You can't cast anything that can bring them back. The only thing you can do is stagger that enemy or kill it, and that's how you get that character back. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are being a lot more aggressive with your stop spell at that particular moment, and get rid of those particular enemies quick. So like if there's a Tomberry King and 2 other enemies, go straight for the Tomberry King. That means you want to, in some cases, just demagnify your spell, right? So that you're only focused on the Tomberry King. And same way with the worms, right? Make sure that you get the unlimited MP, synergize, and just start spamming spells, right? Make sure they're dead first, and then you focus on all the other enemies who can't really take you out like that, okay? Let's see, where was I? Are we synergizing? Yep. Trying to explain as much stuff as I can. Of course, I'm still going to point stuff out with post-commentary, but
10 out of 10.
I want you guys to know what's going on, because you really have to nail this stuff.
Your turn now.
You won't regret this.
You can see how fast the enemies die when you have the Genji Gloves on. I'm going to show you something really nice that you're going to do in a second.
Steal me? I'll
You can
take
actually,
care of them.
I'll try to show
I'll
you.
fight tooth and claw for you.
Kate Sith also has bravery and faith. Faith increases magic damage. So if you really wanted to get nasty, you could apply faith to Aerith. It's really not necessary for these brutal challenges, but if you really wanted to do some crazy damage, apply it like that.
You're in good hands now.
ATB.
I'll show you what I can do.
You can see the icon underneath her name. It's like it's the second one with the staff, and then you cast your spell. Let's see how much damage we do. Actually, I might not do much damage in 13.
Moving on then.
So it would have done less without faith. So if you really want to get crazy with some damage, then just apply faith. Again, not necessary, but that's the reason why I have it on Kate Sith. So, and if you were going to switch out and try to add magnify, that's the one you would take off. Is the materia called empowerment. Just take that one off. That's the one that has bravery and faith. Take that one off, and then try to slot you in a magnify with wind, or you could even do magnify and ice or something like that, and you could, you know, go about it that way.
Let him have it.
All right. I'll take care of
ATB.
them. Can you take over for me? You're in good hands now.
ATB boost. Should have one. If not, we would have used our shuriken.
How about
Good.
this? I'll show you what I can do.
Clock position.
Who's up for some magic? Why don't you lead the
You're
way?
in for it now.
Let's go pray.
Here I
I know it looks really cool to watch these YouTube videos where they just go in there and nuke enemies, but what they're not showing you is the fallout when it doesn't work. And I've tried. Yeah. It does not work. Not all the time. What I'm showing you guys is pretty consistent. Yeah. Okay, we're low on health, so remember health always takes
Let him have
priority.
it. You're out of time. Careful now.
So instead of casting with Kate Sith, put up ATB, see how our health looks.
I'm
It
coming.
looks okay, which it does.
You've got this.
You're in for it
Now
now.
we're fast. See how the Moogle is out there
Get
drawing
fired
the
up.
slug ray? See that? He's got the slug rays aggro.
Your
You'd
turn
be
now.
surprised
You're in
having
good
that
hands
fourth character comes in handy. This is something you really don't see a lot of other god makers talking about, is that fourth character, right? And then it gets really nasty when you use Kate Sith's ability where he can summon, like he can actually summon a summon, right? It's an ability.
What let you down?
And then you can go to, basically you could have 5, because it'd be Aerith, Yuffie, Kate Sith, the Moogle, and then the summon. Right? And that's when you can start tipping things really into your favor, right?
Let him have it. On the brakes.
Here goes.
ATB.
Tagging out.
You like taking
Here I
off?
go. Now, you guys. Don't let me. So it's
Aerith
my
is pretty
turn.
low. See how she's getting eaten right now? So anytime that you can't issue a command with one of our characters, in other words, they're incapacitated, maybe they got hit with like a lightning spell and they're stunned, or in this case, they're being bound, you just switch to the next character. Remember, it's the relay. So if it's not working out with one character, go to the next. If it's not working out with them, go to the next. Okay, you only want to spend maybe, 3-4 seconds on each character, right? And you want to be moving to somebody else. We want to confuse the AI, right? And have them trying to catch up with us, okay? So knowing that she has 1176 health, I'm just going to shoot over
Just
to
taking a little
Kate
bit
Sith
away.
and pray.
Break a leg.
You're in good hands now.
And if she dies, I would have just brought her back with me.
Do me.
Or
Here
build up
goes.
double ATB with Kate Sith and had him bring her back. Either way.
Someone looks kind of shaky.
5 o'clock position.
Don't worry. The planet's got us. It's your turn.
They're in for it now.
Pray.
If you insist.
Our system is very flexible.
I'll show you what I can do.
Let's I can't synergize yet because he must be bound or something. Yeah, he's in trouble, so now I can't. Anytime they're getting hit or something like that,
And let him fly.
they're not going to be able to synergize. You're not invincible when you synergize.
Someone looks kind of shaky.
I think
10 out
I'm
of
going to double pray here.
You've got this.
They need you, Kate. I just need a
I'm
moment.
your
Because
one-stop
if
clobbering shop.
one of my characters were to get bound right there, I don't know if I could have.
I'm unstoppable.
I mean, I could have
Here
by
goes.
reviving people, but you don't want
It's your turn.
Leave it to me.
How's this? Here I just want to take for mercy.
So like right now, I could just use stop. If things were getting crazy and I felt like I was losing my place in the fight, I just cast stop, get that 8-9 seconds of breathing room, right? And just reset. The best thing you can do in these fights, guys, is just not freak out.
Ready to go.
You can always pause and think. Look at the ATB in the bottom right? Think about your abilities. Just take a breather, right? Figure out what you want to do and then unpause and execute. You don't have to stay in the fight the entire time, okay? Let's see. Paste.
Let him have it.
I'll take care of him. Tagging
You
out.
mind?
Here I go. Here for you guys.
Here we go. ATB. I don't know if I boosted. No, I
All
didn't
right.
boost.
So it's my turn.
All right, ready to
Who's
go.
up for some magic? It's your turn.
It's my time to shine. Your
Again,
turn
it's
now.
more about
One-stop clobbering shop.
how well we execute, not what the enemies do.
I'm
That
coming.
makes sense? It's about what we do. That's determining everything.
Charging up.
There's so much more being controlled in this fight than you guys can even fathom. Just because of the way that we're moving around the arena. The way we're moving, our commands, the way that we're switching camera angles, that stuff is having such a vital part of our success here. And it's not really something that you can fully understand, right? If that makes sense. But it's all happening. But again, all we care about is what we're doing, and then all that stuff is kind of happening in the back. Let's see, where are we at? We synergizing? We just synergized, okay.
You can do it!
Feel in for it now. Let him have it.
If you insist.
If you've played these before, you know how fast the enemies can gang up on you. Start juggling you,
I'll show you what I
and just
can do.
destroying
Here we
you.
go.
But you can see that that's not really happening with
Tagging
us.
I'll
out.
fight tooth and claw for
It's
you.
because we're moving.
Break a leg.
We're
You won't
moving,
regret
moving,
this.
moving. We're constantly switching where the aggro should be, and the enemies have a hard time doing it. It doesn't always work out. I mean, it's not 100%. This is a video game.
None
There's
can escape
RNG.
the wrath of
But I
the
think you guys
ninja!
can work on it. So pretty much all the other simulation challenges are going to play out just like this one. You can see we got a time of 8:46. I usually average between like a 7 and 9 minute run on all of these. Again, it's slower strategies, but I'm preparing you guys for much tougher challenges coming up. Okay, the legendary challenges. And we're really going to be utilizing the relay system. Okay, so it's very important. I urge you guys to stick to the relay system, deal with the slower fights, build up that muscle memory, right? And try to get the setup down to about 13 seconds. Again, I'm going to show you guys later on in the guide how you can practice that and know exactly how much time it takes without having to use like a Google stopwatch or a phone. The game will do it for you. I'll show you how to do it, okay? But I want you guys to start building up that muscle memory now, okay? So just stick with it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the series.